it's Martin here from Derico UK, here again. We're going to be continuing our journey today in relation to reloading for beginners. I'm going to caveat this video the same as I've done every other video, okay? This is how I reload. This is my process and I find that it works for me. Reloading can be done in a variety of ways, in a variety of steps, in different orders. Every step has multiple ways of being able to do it. This is how I do it, and I think it works. If you've seen the other videos, we're working down our sheet. So far we've already decapped our brass. We've cleaned it through the wet tumbler. We've annealed it on the ugly annealer, and now we're going to be sizing it. So this is the same pieces of brass that we've already been working on. We're now just coming up to sizing. Various pieces of equipment that we've got out today, and we're going to be using all of these in relation to the sizing process. Some of these are essential, some of them are, yeah, you pretty much really do need that, but you can maybe get away without it, and some of these are just nice to haves. But again, this is how I do it. We obviously have the comparator kit from Derico available on the website, so you'll need or you should really have some sort of headspace gauge. We're going to be using the headspace gauges today. I also use a cheap reloading tray. This one's by MTM. You'll see why I use something like that later on as we go through. Got our brass in our Derico reloading tray. Again, these ones are available to purchase if you need to. This is the 308 version of the 200 round block. You're going to need some form of lubricant. Get asked this quite a bit. I use the Hornady one shot. It works for me. I'll show you as part of this video how I do it, but there are various other lubricants out there, but you will need some sort of lubricant. Digital calipers, again, can you get away with the sizing process without calipers? Yes, you can. Will it be any good? Probably not, but a good set of calipers. Again, these are the set that we retail here at Derico, and I've already fitted the headspace gauge into them along with the anvil that we sell. You will need some form of shell holder. However, in my reloading process, I use our competition shell holders. Again, they're available through the website. I'll show you as part of the video how I do these, although there is a separate video available, which I'll try to link in the description if I can do. You will need dies. Again, there's loads of companies out there that make them. These are the Hornady dies, they're custom grade, so these aren't bushing dies, these are effectively just standard dies. Obviously 22 Creedmoor for what we're reloading. Standard seating die, standard sizing die, only difference being that I've removed that central stem, and that'll become apparent as we go through the sizing process. And then again, just part of my reloading process is a mandrel die. If you're not familiar with mandrel dies, there are various videos out there available, and I'll demonstrate its use as part of this video. But if you want an in-depth explanation as to why we do them, there are various other videos that are much longer and much more in-depth about them. I use the set by L.E. Wilson, so we're going to be going through that as part of the video. Introduction's over as far as this part goes. So we're going to be only using about 10 pieces of brass today, just so that the video doesn't get a little bit out of hand. First things first, we need to go and lube up our cases. Okay guys, so we've moved outside just because we're going to be using aerosols and sprays. So Hornady one shot, give it a really good shake, and then make sure they are all coated. Plenty on there. Give them a few minutes to dry off and then we'll go inside. Okay, now we've got our cases lubricated, we need to know what we're going to be doing with them. Now, sizing brass basically accomplishes 3 different things whilst we're doing it. Number 1 is it squeezes the entire body of the case back to those SAMI spec dimensions. So I always think of that as just squeezing that body back down to size so it'll fit in the chamber. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we are pushing the shoulders back on the cases. Normally you'll hear these figures of around 2/1000ths of an inch, anywhere from 1 to 3 depending on what it is that you're looking for, but I will normally aim for somewhere around about 2/1000ths of shoulder pushback. And at the same time we're squeezing the neck of the cases so that the bullet will be held back by them, and that's when we're talking about how much sort of friction fit we're getting on the neck, or neck tension you'll hear it referred to as. And again, we're going to be using phrases like 1 to 2/1000ths of an inch when we're talking about that. Now, various analogies that I use when I try and describe this process to other sort of novice reloaders, sometimes think of it a bit like a tube of toothpaste, where if we're squeezing the main body of the tube of toothpaste, the toothpaste wants to come out through the hole at the top. That is what we in the reloading process we'd call brass flow. So as we're squeezing the case back down again, and we're pushing those shoulders back down again, the brass that we're compressing has to go somewhere, in which case it'll flow back up through the neck, and that's why we end up having to trim. Now that'll come in a later video, but you just need to understand that when we're reloading brass, when we're sizing the brass cases, we're actually doing those 3 different things. We're having to get the body back down from its previous firing, we're having to set the shoulders back down again. Those 2 things are so that it goes back inside your rifle chamber, but we also have to squeeze the neck back down again to an appropriate size that it'll properly hold the bullet in place. Now, as far as the body dimensions go, that's going to be set by your die. Unless you've sent it off to be honed by the die manufacturer, the body dimension will be exactly as it is per the die, and there's nothing we can do to change that. The other 2 things though we can do something about, and the main one that, or sorry, should I say the first one that we're going to be talking about is in relation to setting the shoulder back. Okay, and again we need to do that so that it'll properly chamber into our rifles. So got my caliper set up on this. For this particular cartridge I'm using the 330 insert, and all we're going to do is zero your caliper, get your case in there. Again, this is why I like having an anvil, so that it's got something nice and steady to sit on. And again, for this particular case, I'm going to try and do this so that the camera picks it up. I always ignore that last digit, but I'm getting 1600 on me. So that one was 1600, and then just for the sake of me having a bit of verification, I'll measure all the others as well. So I get that at 1599. 1600, oh no, 1599 again. Again, it doesn't really matter what this number is. 1600, and number 5 comes in at 1601, if you can see that. I like the 1600, I think that's a nice easy number for me to remember. So what I do is put it in my calipers to get that figure. We've got 1599 again. doesn't matter, whatever it is. And then from that point of view, I then zero my calipers out. And the reason I do that will become clear shortly. So without further ado, let's move over to the press. Okay guys, now we're back over at our press. We're going to need a few other pieces of equipment. So this is where we're going to go to our reloading dies. These are just simple dies from Hornady. You see that I've removed that central stem. Okay, so all we're going to be doing during this part of the process is sizing down the outside, the body of the case, and setting the shoulders back. Now, because I am going to be using a set of the Derico competition shell holders, one thing that we're not going to be covering in this video is how to set up your full length sizing die. There are various videos out there in relation to how to do this, and I'm not going to be showing you how to do it. The reason that I'm not going to be doing that, firstly, it's a video all in of itself. Secondly, when you're using the competition shell holders, it's completely unnecessary and it takes so much of the time and the guesswork out of it. So there is another separate video all about these competition shell holders, but basically these are all in a 308 size, which is what the 22 Creedmoor takes as a bolt face, and they are effectively, in really simple terms, each slightly taller than the other. So starting at the lowest at our 0 datum piece and going up in 2000s, then we've got 4, 6, 8 and 10 thousandths. And what that's going to do is effectively put an extra gap, so to speak, between the bottom of the shell holder, where the bottom of the bolt face would be, and where the die can come down to. So instead of having to set the die up or down, we use these competition shell holders, I said, effectively like packing pieces. So just for today's purposes, and again, I've already done a video about these, but I'm going to use the datum piece. So this is the 0, so to speak. We do sort of set the die up like we would any other one. So I've got my locking ring running freely. I'm going to screw it all the way down until it touches the shell holder, and then I'm going to screw it down quite a lot more, so that there's absolute closure between the top of the shell holder and the bottom of the die, so that when I'm sizing it, again in the other video I described it as an air gap. There's no air gap going between these two things. With it being the 0, it's probably likely to set those shoulders back too much. So if you remember, we zeroed our calipers before, so when I run this up into the die and make sure that I've got this absolute closure between the bottom of the die and the top of the shell piece, that's done the main body and hopefully set the shoulders back some. We put it back into our zeroed calipers, and that is giving -8 thousandths. So we've sized the body, that's been absolutely fine, but we've set the shoulders back 8 thousandths. That's too much, in my opinion, and probably in the opinion of most people. It'll go into your rifle absolutely fine, but you've set the shoulders back by 8 thousandths, and then when you fire the case, those shoulders are going to jump forward another 8 thousandths. So it's a bit like, I suppose, playing with blue tack. You're stretching it and putting it back together over and over, and eventually it's going to snap, and that's when you're going to get case head separation, because you're just overworking your brass. So 8 thousandths is too much. We want approximately 2 thousandths, so I need to go up by 6 thousandths just to get my -2. So I'm going to put that to one side, and rather than messing with the die, which is what you see in a lot of the other videos about how to set your full length sizing die, all I'm going to do is I'm going to change my 0 to my +6 thousandths, and instead of messing with the die end, what I've done is I've messed with the shell holder, and effectively put another 6/1000 of bushing, if you will, on top here. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing with another piece of brass. Again, for the sakes of the video here, I'm going to put it in to my caliper. I'm going to zero it out, so that's reading 0. In my 6/1000 shell holder, size it, give it a second or two to dwell, and bring it back down again. And with a 6/1000 shell holder, I am getting, just spin that, -3/1000 of shoulder setback. That's possibly a little bit much. If I wanted to, I tell you what, just for the sake of the video, let's say that that's still too much, and I want to go to my 8/1000 shell holder. Then we can do exactly the same thing. Put the brass in the calipers, spin it, zero it out into our 8/1000 shell holder. Size, give it a second to dwell, back again. Done the body, and this time we've set the shoulders back. I'm getting between -0.5 and -1. See that, -1/1000th. So for me personally, given this type of brass, I'm going to have to decide, do I want 1/1000th of setback or 3/1000th of setback? That's going to be entirely up to you, but during this step, just keep it in your head. We've sized the body of the case and we've set the shoulders back. We've also shrunk the neck, so technically speaking, the piece of brass that we've now sized will go into the chamber. You'll be able to close your bolt fine. The part you're going to struggle with is seating the bullet into them, because these necks are going to be far too tight, because of course there's no expansion going on. Most of you in your dies will have something similar to this, and it's this section here that when we're drawing it back out through the case, this is what opens your neck back up again. That isn't being done during this step. This step is purely about getting everything sized down. The next step will be about mandrel sizing. So I'm going to go ahead and finish sizing all this brass down. I hope that makes sense. This is the last step in this particular part of the process, in the sizing step. I'm going to do another video next, all about mandrel dies and how we open those necks back up to set our neck tension, getting ready for bullet seating. I hope that's clear. If there's any questions, please leave it down in the comments. Drop me an email, drop me a text, give me a call, no problem. Happy to help anyone out there. I don't profess to be an expert. I'll keep saying it again. This is how I do my reloading process. You do you. If it works for you, not a problem at all. This works for me. This is how I do it. If you're curious how I do my reloading, this is it. Other than that, enjoy some good range time. Stay safe out there. Take care.